Okay, we're going to review your first lab. This is LAB1, ClassFUL IP addressing, where we're asked to find several different IP addresses. So this first IP address here, we know, first of all, it's a Class B. We know it's a Class B because it starts with the 10. If we go back to our chart, we know Class B starts with the 10 in the prefix here. So it's a Class B. Class B tells us that the first 2 octets are the network address, and the second 2 octets are the host address. So here we've taken the decimal IP address and converted it to binary, right? Then you just, to find the network address, you just look at the first 2 octets. The second 2 octets are all 0. So this is what the dot decimal version of the network address looks like. Then to find the broadcast address, right? Broadcast address, you set all the bits to 1. So down here are all the bits, the host bits addressed to 1. This would be the dot decimal version of the broadcast address. Network address, and then everything set to 1 of the broadcast. Now, the range, this is important, the range of host addresses. So if this is the network address and this is the broadcast address, you can't assign those to individual devices or hosts, right? The first one you can do is you take the network address here and you add 1 to it. So again, down here, this is this is a typo. This is wrong. That should be a 1. So it should be 160.53.0.1 is the first address in the range that you can actually use. And then the end of the range is the broadcast address with everything's 10 minus 1. So that's why it's 254 in the range, and 255 is part of the broadcast address. And that would be the range. Okay, so for the next one, it's the same way. We know this is a Class A, ClassFUL IP address because it starts with the 0. It's a lower number here. And so we're looking at just the first octet as the network address. So just the first octet is the network address. Everything else is zeros. And so this is what the network address would look like in the dot decimal format. The broadcast address would be the same thing, except all the hosts would be 1s. So this would be the broadcast address. Then the range of hosts available to use is the network address plus 1 through the broadcast address minus 1. So this would be the range of usable hosts within that network address, within that IP address. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. It's rinse and repeat. It's the same thing here. We know this is a Class B address. Starts with the 10. Again, Class B starts with the 10 here, right? So we know it's a Class B. Class B is the first 2 octets are considered the network address. So this would be the network address here. And then 0.0, right? The broadcast address, instead of everything being 0, everything would be 1s for the host. So this would be the broadcast address right here. Then the range would be the network address plus 1. Here's the network address plus 1. And up to the broadcast address minus 1. Now, I will mention this. The first IP address in the range, right, which is, whatever it is, .1, this typically is assigned to the default gateway or the router that leads out of your network. So yes, you assign it, but you'll almost always assign it to the default gateway. Then all the other stuff you can assign to, laptops and desktops and servers and whatever else you need. Okay, let's look at the next one real fast. Again, same thing. It's a Class C because it starts 110 and it's a higher number. Also, we know this is 192.168. So that tells me this is a private IP address. So this would be used inside a LAN. And again, a Class C, so that's the first 3 octets would be considered the network address for a Class C. So again, here is the network address. Everything set to 0 would be the network IP address here in .decimal format. Everything set to 1. Everything set to 1 would be the broadcast, right? This is the broadcast IP address. Then the range would be the network address plus 1 through the broadcast address minus 1. So this would be the range of available IP addresses to assign this Class C, ClassFUL IP address. Again, that first one would be always is assigned to the default gateway, right? Which you'll need to know that when we mess around with Packet Tracer. Okay. And then again, the last example here, again, Class C. You can see the way it starts 110. Again, go back to here. Class C starts 110. It's a higher number. And then Class C, the first 3 octets are the network ID. So here's the network address here with everything after the first 3 octets set to 0. So that's the network IP address. And then the broadcast address is everything, all the host IDs set to 1. So that would be this, right? Then the range is the network address plus 1 through the broadcast address minus 1. So again, that would be the range of available IP addresses. Okay. Hopefully you did well in that. If not, go back and look at your information. Make sure you got it right and you understand it. You will need to know that for the lab test.